everybody, welcome to Art Recycled. Today we are going to make this fun cactus sculpture. What you're going to need is you're going to need a toilet paper tube. You're going to need cardboard, and you can just cut it up into geometric shapes. And you can use markers to decorate the cardboard, or you can use paint like I did. Some unnecessary supplies are tissue paper or puff balls if you want flowers on the cactus, not needed. Toothpicks for the prickles on the cactus, and then you're going to need a scissors to be able to cut your cardboard. So let's go ahead and get started and make this fun succulent craft. All right, now as you can see, I've cut up some cardboard in geometric shapes, and I actually like that some of them are geometric shapes. We can go into cubism a little bit with Picasso, where he was looking at objects from multiple perspectives, squares, triangles, rectangles, those sort of shapes. But if you want to cut some of these into more cacti shapes, you can definitely cut them into ovals, or you can cut them into circles, and that's just fine. But I'm going to leave some of them just as they are. All right, so now that I have some of them cut and some of them plain, and again, you don't have to cut any of them. If you're doing this with young enough kids, it's just easier to have them chopped up like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a slit into the bottom of each one. And how big should this be? Not too long. So I'm going to cut about, think like if this is your thumb, from where the tip of your thumb to where your knuckle is in each piece. And it doesn't always have to be, on the same side. Okay, now that I have a slit cut in each one, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paints and I'm going to paint all of these pieces on both sides, and I'm also going to paint my toilet paper tube. All right, all my pieces are dry, and now I also brought in some of my optional supplies, which were toothpicks, some tissue paper, puff balls, and some liquid glue to attach the flowers. So now all I have to do, I'm not going to glue these on. All I have to do is, kind of open these slits a little bit, and I'm going to slide them onto the toilet paper tube. They may be a little stuck because of the paint, if you decided to use paint, but typically they go on quite well. And then you just start building your sculpture. So if I put that one vertically, then I'm going to split this one and put this one on maybe horizontally. And actually, if you use paint actually adds a little bit of texture to these cardboard pieces, which actually helps them stay a little bit better. So now you're just gonna see me work like a puzzle maker and start to build my cactus. There we go, and I think that I am done. Now, obviously, the further out you build, the harder it's going to be to balance it out. So you kind of need to know when to stop. I attached 6 pieces on top of this tube for my cactus. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make flowers out of tissue paper. And so if you take a piece of tissue paper, or again, you can use a puff ball if you want, I'm going to wrap it around the end of a skinny marker or a pencil, and I'm going to take some glue and just put dots, especially at the top or the ends of some of these pieces, and then attach these little tissue paper flowers. You don't have to do it with a marker in this way. It's kind of nice though, because it does kind of make this shape that looks like a flower that's popping up like that, if you can see. But if that's too hard, the other way you can do it is you can just attach a little bit of glue, take the tissue paper, roll it into a ball using your fingers, and then just drop it into the glue. All right, now the last thing I'm gonna do are, of course, the little prickly pines of the cactus. And basically what I did is I'm going to take toothpicks, cut them in half, and these aren't gonna stay with glue, right, if I try to glue them on. But what they can do is, if you look at your cardboard, right, this stuff right here, this is called corrugation. And if I take my toothpicks and I just, you might have to hold it with your other hand, poke them in there, they actually stay, if you get them in the right spots. That one maybe wasn't the best one. They actually stay really well. And a trick is to take the pointed side of the toothpick and actually shove that part in first. All right, there you go. There is my finished cactus. I hope you had fun with this fun sculptural craft, and I will see you next time on Art Recycled. Bye.